Welcome back to The Explainer. You know, when you picture a certified firefighter, you probably imagine them carrying people out of burning buildings or wrestling a massive, heavy hose. But long before any of that happens, candidates have to master the absolute basics, and they have to do it under immense pressure. Today, we're breaking down a very specific, high-stakes, practical exam from the Florida Firefighter Minimum Standards. It's called climbing a ground ladder while carrying a tool. It sounds simple, right? Well, it's actually this intense physical and verbal choreography where every single movement and spoken word is scrutinized by a state examiner. Let's get right into it.
4 minutes and 40 seconds. That's it. That is the strict time limit the candidate has to complete this entire evolution. Now, sitting here, that might sound like a decent chunk of time, but when your adrenaline is absolutely pumping, you're wearing heavy personal protective equipment, and an examiner with a clipboard is staring you down, time literally evaporates. And here's the real kicker. This exam is just as much a memory test as it is a physical one. One wrong move or even one missed phrase from a highly specific script means instant failure. No way around it. You don't get a do-over, you're just done.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our mission map for today. 1, the pre-climb checklist. 2, ascending with a tool. 3, the leg lock protocol. 4, the safe descent. And 5, critical pass points. All right, starting off with Section 1, the pre-climb checklist, your mandatory ground preparations. I want you to put yourself right there in the heavy boots of a candidate standing on the testing ground. You're gripping your assigned tool, maybe an axe or a Halligan bar, and you're staring up at a raised ground ladder. Your instinct might be to just jump on and start climbing, but if you even touch that ladder right now, you fail. Before you lay a finger on it, you have to confidently deliver this rapid-fire string of situational awareness verbalizations. You literally have to stand there and state aloud to the examiner, I am wearing full PPE. I will notify incident command of my assignment. I will monitor my conditions and crew conditions. You have to declare that you'll notify interior and exterior crews, ensure a charged backup hose line is ready, shut down utilities, identify a secondary means of egress, and work from the windward side. It's a massive mental checklist. And it proves you aren't just some robot climbing a ladder. You're a tactical thinker analyzing the entire fireground. Now let me quickly highlight a really critical piece of fire service jargon from that list, the IDLH environment. It stands for immediately dangerous to life or health. The candidate must specifically state, if operating in an IDLH environment, I will be on air. This means they're hooking up their regulator to their oxygen cylinder so they're breathing clean air, not toxic smoke. The examiner demands this exact phrase because recognizing an IDLH environment is literally the difference between life and death on the job. Once that initial speech is finally out of the way, the actual test begins. The examiner gives you an assignment. They might say, firefighter, take this tool to the designated work area. Now, you can't just nod. You must follow a strict mental formula. Receive, repeat, perform. You reply aloud, copy command, take the tool to the designated work area. Only after you say that do you move to step 2, which is verbally verifying the ladder's safety, and finally step 3, properly grasping the tool to maintain positive control so it doesn't swing around excessively. Now, what's really interesting here is a super common trap for nervous candidates. A lot of people will look at the ladder and simply say, the ladder is safe. Well, actually, scratch that. That is an automatic, instant fail. The required verbiage is, the ladder is safe and secure, or the ladder is safe and healed. Missing that one single word, secure or healed, proves to the evaluator that you haven't fully confirmed the ladder is tied off or being physically held by a partner. Words absolutely matter when gravity is involved. Moving right along to Section 2, ascending with a tool. Let's look at the climb itself. Okay, so you've done all the talking, you've acknowledged the order, checked the ladder, and secured your tool. As you step onto those rungs, everything kind of slows down. The need for safety, perfect balance, and absolute control is paramount right now. Remember, you're essentially climbing with one hand disabled because it's carrying a heavy piece of steel. So you have a strict, unbreakable rule. Maintain 3 points of contact at all times. Since one hand is occupied, your 2 feet and your one free hand are your lifeline. To keep that contact, you must smoothly slide your free hand along the backside of the ladder's beam as you step up. If you can, the hand carrying the tool slides along the opposite beam for extra stability. You're gliding up the ladder, not grabbing it rung by rung. And here is the fatal human instinct you absolutely have to fight. Do not remove your hand and regrasp the beam. Think about how you climb a ladder at home. You probably grab a rung, let go, reach up, grab the next rung, right? Well, if a candidate does that on this exam,
If the examiner sees even a sliver of daylight between their glove and the ladder beam, they instantly break those life-saving 3 points of contact. Boom, exam over. It requires immense focus to fight that natural instinct and smoothly slide the hand continuously instead. And that brings us to Section 3, the leg lock protocol. This is how you secure your work position. This right here is the absolute climax of the explainer. You've reached your designated height, but you can't exactly swing an axe with one free hand while standing normally on a ladder. You just fall right backward. You have to perform a dangerous, perfectly executed maneuver to lock your body into the ladder mid-air. You stop, stabilize, and verbalize up 1, over 2. What that physically means is you step up 1 rung with the leg opposite to the side you plan to work on, you thread that leg over the 2nd rung, hook your foot, and lock your entire body weight down. Once you're locked in securely, you have to loudly announce, "I am notifying exterior crew." This is crucial because it warns anyone down below that tools or debris might be falling on their heads. So the crucial point here is exactly where you hook that foot during the over 2 motion. A candidate under stress might just hook the toe of their boot onto the horizontal rung. That is a major safety violation. You must hook your foot securely onto the vertical beam of the ladder. Hooking the beam locks the leg tightly against the rung, wedging your body into a completely stable hands-free work position. If you just hook the rung, your leg is loose and totally susceptible to slipping the very moment you swing your tool. Okay, let's get into Section 4, the safe descent, returning to the ground. So you've simulated the work, and man, it's so easy to relax at this point thinking the hard part is over. But gravity is unforgiving, and evaluators know that accidents usually happen on the way down. This exam is absolutely not over until both of your boots are safely planted in the dirt. Before you can even begin moving down, you must unlock your leg and return to what's called the neutral position. This is defined as having both feet placed parallel on the exact same rung. And here is a tiny detail evaluators watch like hawks. You must state, "I am in neutral position," and then stand perfectly still for 1 to 3 seconds. Don't immediately descend. This micropause proves to the evaluator that you've regained complete balance and control of your tool before shifting your momentum downward. Following that critical micropause, you walk through the final controlled sequence. You descend smoothly, using your legs, not your upper body, to control your speed. Just like the way up, tool control and continuous sliding beam contact with your free hand have to be maintained the entire way down. Then, the moment your boots finally hit the ground, you look the examiner right in the eye and state, "Assignment complete." Finally, Section 5, critical pass points, the evaluator's checklist. Pulling all of this together brilliantly illustrates the overarching themes we've been talking about. What are the absolute must-dos that make or break this exam in those 4 minutes and 40 seconds? Well, examiners are constantly tallying immediate failures, things like losing control of the tool, lifting your hand to regrasp the beam, or rushing down before pausing in the neutral position. And they're weighing those against mandatory actions, explicitly repeating the command assignment, maintaining continuous beam contact, and nailing the precise verbiage like notifying exterior crew. So, if there is an ultimate cheat code memory phrase to lock this all in, it's this. Repeat the order, safe and secure, beam contact, leg lock, notify exterior crew, neutral position, controlled descent. That sequence right there is the DNA of a passing score. It perfectly balances physical mastery with intense, unwavering situational awareness. It really makes you realize that being a firefighter isn't just about bravery, it's about unparalleled discipline. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. If you were handed an axe right now and given exactly 4 minutes and 40 seconds, could you execute every single physical step and recite every verbal command flawlessly while lives are on the line?